This is a short movie about my recent journey into the Alps. I've set myself a clear objective, traversing an entire mountain chain using barely any gear and only very essential items. My journey starts in a village called Alps. The streets still make an easy walk. Here we do see the river Dora Iparia. Already now I feel incredibly small. White giants are glancing down at us humans. Countless dark spruces and firs extend across dozens and dozens of kilometers. One quickly starts to contemplate. Stefano offered me to stay in his cabin, but in order to reach it, I must complete 2 days' worth of marching. Will Mother Nature show mercy? Am I going to make it? A last swift look onto the map. Yes, now it is time to head upwards, towards the Monte Alberghi di Mezzo. It'll be alright. Just do it. As mentioned before, in the beginning all trails are rather unspectacular. One just keeps on walking, passing the last streets and houses of a settlement. Here we see the last inhabited houses at the edge of Ulks. First stage of the trip, finding an abandoned mountain hut I spotted on the map. It shall serve me as a shelter for tonight. Before I get to it, it's time for a little detour. A sign indicated a pilgrimage site. And there she is, the Virgin Mary. She is said to be the guardian of all travelers passing by. She does look a little condemning, doesn't she? Is whatever I'm doing really wise? Behind her I find the Grotto della Bomba. Legend has it that the Virgin Mary once appeared here. It is pretty warm. I'm thirsty. Water flows in abundance here, but unfortunately it is not drinkable. I'm having a look around. Personally, I do not believe in the preachings of the Catholic Church, and also not in the appearance of the Virgin Mary at this very spot. But if one takes a look at the pristine landscape found already at the foot of the first mountain, one becomes instantly humble. These magnificent locations are the work of millions of years of working forces of nature. What am I as a human being in their pristine face? And finally, out of civilization and right into the terrain. Here everything is bigger and wider than we know it from our everyday lives in towns and cities. As far as I'm more of a heathen, it is time for me to give a small but genuine salute to the mountain goddess Gaudi. I'm building a little stone tower and recollect myself that I must always work with the mountain, but never against it. A small kiss onto the Mjolnir, and a swift look at Skadi's great giants. Yes, if I am conducting myself in a respectful manner towards her, nothing can happen to me. Time to move on. In the background one can still hear the highway. Ascending the first mountain, one cannot help but ponder. How will the people in the valley spend their upcoming days in comparison to oneself? Will the journey become a relaxed experience, far off everyday life stress? Or will it turn out to be a nightmare, once natural forces strike down upon one in the most relentless way? Then one turns around to have a last look at the valley, bidding farewell to all the luxury known in everyday life. Hidden treasures can be found anywhere along the wayside. Here's a pretty interesting plant. I'm going to have a look at it. Yes, that's definitely lavender. With great care I'm picking a couple of young sprouts from the plant and leave the rest where it belongs. Then I'm grinding these sprouts between my palms and rub the plant saps onto my neck. This provides me with an improvised insect repellent. Only time will tell how effective it will turn out to be, but nevertheless it also covers up the body odor. Out here the trails are long, almost endless. Just like the days. Bit by bit, one immerses deeper and deeper into one's own thoughts, questioning what is truly right and of importance in life. Friends? Freedom? Peace? For as long as I'm strolling through the woods, I know that nothing can strike me, so I continue with my mind at ease. Resources here are omnipresent, you just need to know where to look. Here we got dandelion, for example. A great way to obtain emergency food, to make a sugary tea for the blood circulation, or for minor medical issues. I'm not hungry yet, so I leave these plants be. For insects, they are of utmost importance. Here we see wild bees working. Without these little helpers, nature would be out of balance as in many places around the world. It is going further up and up. Once the terrain gets more rocky, I turn more cheerful. Up here, everything is wild and untouched. One quickly realizes the importance of protecting our natural ecosystems. Everything is connected with each other. If one breaks a single link in the chain, the entire chain breaks. Just like the bee, I am such a chain link, and therefore looking for an appropriate place for myself. Sometimes one just turns out to be lucky. Some hikers left their walking sticks right here. Yeah, that one looks good. I'll take that one. And so it goes, putting one foot after another, again and again. The wind carries up the noise of the highway once more. Just a couple of hours to go until I reach my first waypoint. And finally, the first creek. Water. But is it drinkable? The stream originates far up the hill. When in doubt, take no chances. So I continue. Close to creeks, myriad useful plants can be found. Here we see garlic mustard. I like using this herb when cooking. Out here, it also serves me as an emergency food source. By eating a couple of leaves and seed pods, I'm scoring some calories and a salivant taste. That ain't much, of course, so I'm happy to have bought some bread and dried meat earlier today. For now, I'm fine with this snack. Soon, I will need more sustenance, though. Time for a quick break and a final check of the equipment, just to make sure. I'm carrying my jacket for rain and wind protection. It also serves me as a blanket when sleeping. Besides that, I carry a shemak, which makes a makeshift bag, scarf or blanket, and helps me filter particles from the water. Next to that, a first aid kit, just in case. This here is a self-made leather bag containing my smoking pipe, accessories and some matches. In the tin can, some Danish tobacco. And next to that, my Chris Morgan pipe that I received as a present. Thanks a lot for this travel companion, Chris. Also sunglasses with VA to deal with the changing light between forest and peak. A notebook to capture thoughts. A cleaning towel for the camera gear. And a bit of cordage. Next to that, a simple foldable pocket knife, just to see how far I can get with that. And clipped to my belt, my wooden kuksa. I can use this to scoop water from the creeks. Finally, a small tin can, because you never know what you will find on the trail that might be of use later on. During a short smoke break, I'm wondering whether it was a smart decision to only bring along so few gear pieces. No hatchet, no tent, no sleeping bag. Is it really wise to bet all on the mountain hut? Probably not, so I must adapt to nature fully. As we see here, one can find myriad resources all across the terrain. This is pine resin, and it can be used for a whole variety of purposes. Resin can be used as a tinder for fire making, and also as an antiseptic medicine for cuts or throat pain. It is of utmost importance to not damage the tree, therefore I only scratch off the very surface of the resin plug. Penetrating too deeply into the plug would open up the tree's wound again, causing a risk for new infections. Here again in the close-up, a little tin can filled with resin is more than enough to improvise a fire starter, some glue, or maybe some medicine. A fair trade for a sticky blade, isn't it? On the forest floor we see some processionary caterpillars. Teamwork. The witty squirrel could only be captured shortly on camera. And here's a lizard. Now he saw me. With every kilometer hiked, the views become more and more majestic. As the day is coming to an end, I finally arrive at my first waypoint. Here it is, the abandoned mountain hut. I will make myself comfortable underneath the roof truss tonight in order to stay dry and comfortable. And again I'm lucky. On location there's a perfectly functional well. Time to freshen up before getting some rest. After about 20 kilometers, a refreshing cat wash like this becomes an indescribable bliss. I will get busy cleaning the truss now and wish you a good night. See you tomorrow. Day 2. The night was warm and comfortable. I am well rested. Good sleep is important, because my way will lead me further up north, towards the French-Italian border. Today's goal is to reach a grotto far up Mount Permant. It shall serve me as a shelter for the next night. I intend to reach some 3,000 height meters. When crossing creeks, one must be careful at any given time, no matter how small a creek may seem. One wrong step, losing your balance, and you slip, potentially twisting your ankle. In a situation like mine, alone and far from rescue, even this could be fatal. Therefore I am dealing with the situation like this in a very calm and conscious way. I got all the time in the world. There is no room for hasty actions here in the mountains. Along the trail I'm reaching the Lago d'Orfu, a small stream with turquoise water. I'm very optimistic. So far the sun stayed a friendly companion and soft mountain breezes prevent hyperthermia. Couldn't be better. Time for a short break and some introspection. Nature never ceases to amaze me. Here the mind can be present. I'm taking a seat here to prepare a little present for Stefano. If I should reach his cabin by tomorrow, I want to leave him a Waldgeist according to old Franconian tradition. Waldgeist means forest spirit in English. They are supposed to protect their owners from environmental forces. Below me, a couple of trouts. This really gets me hungry, but fishing is prohibited here. Poachers are overfishing these waters. The cormorants don't seem to mind. Time to get to work. Even though this knife is anything but great, it still gets the job done. If only I dedicate enough time and patience to whittling the forest spirit, of course. After a short rest, I continue to Mount Pramant. My next waypoint will be the Strada di Franchi, the path of the Franks. The second creek crossing is a little easier on a main trail like this one. Here they build a bridge. Super convenient. On my way I'm producing a bit of cordage from nettle fibers. Making these is easy. Simply flatten the plant stem with a wooden stick and pull off the stringy fibers. Then simply wrap them around the stick for easy transportation. Now the fibers are still wet. I need to let them dry before I can weave them into a piece of string. Mother Nature gives us all we need, doesn't she? from here on, it's only going upwards now. Ascending without cease. Slowly, silence and peace come. I made the decision to drop my walking stick. Up here I prefer having both hands ready for climbing. Using all limbs give me extra grip and stability. The first liverwort of this trip, a flower as endangered as it is beautiful. After some more height meters in the burning sun, she finally reveals herself. The grotto. These are the last steps of today. I am about to allow myself having the little bit of bread and dried meat I brought along. Simple things like these become unspeakable luxury goods, just like that stone grove I use as a chair. What a view! Everything here seems endless. I definitely feel the lack of drinking water now. Throughout the day, my concentration dropped continuously, despite the occasional gulp from the creeks. One dehydrates fast in the sunny and dry weather. There are drops falling from the cave ceiling. I can take advantage of the circumstance. Fresh and drinkable water. As so often up in the mountains, patience is of the essence here. I am passing the waiting time, taking care of my food. On the menu, dried calf meat from a ranch down in the Alps Valley, and homemade pane all'olive, an olive bread. After sitting for a while, the true level of exhaustion becomes fully apparent. Sitting down breaks the rhythm of hiking for an entire day, making the mind unoccupied and hence realizing the low blood sugar levels. Discipline pays off. I'm happy about keeping the food for today, as I have one more day of hiking laying ahead of me. Now every calorie counts twice. Here we can see the result of about an hour worth of waiting, some 200 milliliters worth of water. I feel the craving for water, but I have to be patient. Drink slowly and enjoy every belt of water consciously. What seems like a naturalness in everyday life is of very special essence up here. I'm finally where I want to be, back to the roots. Time to take a moment for myself and to let the day come to an end. I will see you guys tomorrow again. The second night was cold and uncomfortable. The morning sky is dark and lets one hope that the forces of nature will show mercy for at least another day. A short while after leaving, misfortune strikes. Dark rain clouds are approaching. Here in the Alps, weather conditions can change quickly. As I do not know whether a storm might be approaching, I decide to stop filming for now and instead to focus on my trail. He who makes wrong decisions in such circumstances will get into trouble. To me, that means being mindful at any time, watching the pace of my body and my surroundings alike. All focus on what is essential. Towards the afternoon, the sky seems to brighten up, despite the heavy winds. And who would have thought? Later that afternoon, the sky clears up. Optimism finds its way back to me. I can continue filming. The birds are chirping again, indicating that the weather settles down. At the foot of the mountain, we can see the trout lake from yesterday. Not far until I reach the peak. About 3.5 kilometers to go. Up here, one enters the kingdom of the chamois. Before me, some trails of mountain goats. Early summer melts away the last reminiscence of winter. The melting snow reveals an old military road. Easy game for me. And finally, I am there, the crest of Mont Bramant. In front of me stands the ancient fortress of the First World War. Built in 1905, the giant structure faces the French border. I want to have a closer look at the bunker, so I look for a point of entry. On top of the facility we find bomb craters, scars of two inhumane wars too perverted to be described by words. In this location, decay meets life. A peaceful mind meets war. In my thoughts I hope that history will never repeat itself. Pondering, I am engaging into my final descent. What is our meaning as simple human beings? What can a single man do to keep the world at peace? How to live a good life? Up here one reflects a lot about compassion, ethics, our relationship to nature, about love. Finding yet another ruin of barracks down the military road, history strikes me firmly yet again. If the desire for war and murder moved people to repeatedly ascend and descend, transporting tons of building materials up here, can we then also achieve bigger results in the name of peace and harmony? Can we make the world a better place? The decision always was, is and will be ours. I'm heading for the valley. While descending, the vegetation grows dense, and the denser the forest, the more I feel at home. In the remote distance, one can hear the church bells chime, and at the trail side dwell some more ambassadors of history. These ones are prehistoric ones. I'm getting closer to the church, and hence to civilization. The Franconian Waldgeist is almost done. Now my nettle cordage comes in handy. I'm convoluting it again for some extra stability. Time to engage into the last couples of meters downhill. The day is old and the sun is slowly fading behind the ridge. And then I'm finally there. Stefano's cabin. The blister-covered feet may finally ditch the boots. What a bliss. I am a little wistful. This adventure now comes to an end, and I'm already missing the mountains. As both a greeting and a little solace, Stefano left me a bottle of Italian red ale. Grazie mille, Stefano. A small gulp of this man-made beverage helps to settle back into civilization. It is a reminder to be thankful for all we've got. Some final tuning of the forest spirit. Done. It is time for me to write down my experiences and thoughts, so I can reflect on them at any later point in time, keeping the memory fresh. I hope you enjoyed this film. Maybe it inspires you to also head out into the mountains at some point in the future. And if you did enjoy the mountain landscapes already, then on the other hand, I also wish you yet another beautiful experience up in the Highlands at some point in the future. All the best to all of you, and safe travels at any time. Thanks for joining me in this video.